Talkopolis programming is sponsored by the following. Highland Hills, a multicultural, diversified funeral home supporting the entire Davidson County community. Visit our website at www.highlandhillsfuneralhome.com or call us at 615-650-5555.
And we are back. It's Player to Player. I'm Brad Hopkins, sitting in for Derek Mason. Cowboy Troy has been a phenomenal co-host today. You're doing a great job, by the way.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
During that last segment, we were teasing about the fact that Houston Texans, they had the first pick in this year's draft. Why? Because they sucked last year. And with that, comes conversation about what should you do with that first pick? Well, guess what? Bill O'Brien and the likes, the new head coach down there, they said we might be interested in trading that pick. What are your thoughts about basically trading away the number one pick? Can there be value in decreasing your role in that draft?
There can be if, for example, you're looking to increase the number of linebackers on your defense. Okay, you look in the draft, is it a linebacker-rich draft class? If so, okay, I would say if I'm going to drop out of the number one pick, I need a number one and maybe a couple number twos. Or something of that. That way you know that if you've got some access to really good linebackers and then you bring them in and then you can say use them in a rotation sense where you always got somebody extra pressuring the ball. You also looking to say if this is a running back rich draft, for example, who's available? Is this going to be somebody that can come in, is going to be durable? They have a history of, ball security. There's not going to be a lot of fumbles. They can catch the ball out of the backfield. Then I would look at dropping down a little bit if there's an opportunity, say, for example, somebody coming in at the second round that is of high caliber on the field. Maybe there's a couple of issues off the field that you can accept and get through. But you utilize them as a second round pick. You bring them in, and then you can get that, and that could be a draft steal, so to speak. There's a lot of pressure with the number one pick. You've got a guy already in Houston. If you're going to look at quarterbacks, you've already got Case Keenum in Houston at quarterback, and he stands a good chance of getting the starting job and keeping that starting job if he's healthy. That said, who's available at quarterback? Do you want to take a Manziel, a Blake Bortles? Do you want to take a Bridgewater? Do you want to do that with the number one pick?
Right.
Because then you've got Case Keenum, who's got great skills that now you have to look at trading because he's not really looking to come back and be a backup. The ownership has already said they like him as a starter. So if you draft a guy like Manziel, he's not going to ride the pine. He's going to be making too much money, plus all of the investments from the Nike folks, and it's like there's going to be a lot of pressure. And as soon as Keenum throws an interception, everybody's going to start chanting, Johnny, Johnny. I mean, he's going to have that over his shoulder. And he's a young quarterback, Case Keenum. And he put up Xbox level numbers, PlayStation numbers at Houston, at University of Houston when he came out, playing his collegiate days. And he was, and you look at Matt Schaub, he's already out because of Keenum coming in.
Well, I also look at what they were doing in free agency, the Houston Texans. I mean, by bringing in former backup for the Tennessee Titans, Ryan Fitzpatrick. Now, here's a guy that could fight for that position. If, in fact, the Houston Texans are seriously interested in trading away that pick, maybe they do ride out with Ryan Fitzpatrick versus Case Keenum and backup X, right? To see if there's a quiet quarterback competition there. They must feel confident about that free agency pick to even want to consider that. But one team that I'm hearing is interested in that trade would be the Buffalo Bills. Now, they've got a young quarterback in E.J. Manuel. I thought showed some glimpses of potential there last season. Then don't see a whole bunch of weapons around him or even a ground game to kind of balance things out for a young quarterback. But when you look at just the scenario that you're looking at with the Bills possibly getting that pick, does that mean that Jadeveon Clowney is possibly in their crosshairs? A guy from South Carolina that has been talked about throughout the entire draft process, throughout all of our senior pro days and all this other craziness. Other than Johnny Manziel, I'd say that he's probably the most identifiable figure in this year's draft, potentially. And if the Bills want to move up to number one, maybe that's saying that Jadeveon Clowney will go number one.
If I were the Bills and had the number one pick, I would take Clowney.
So does that say that the Mario Williams experiment didn't work?
Not saying that, but I'm just saying that if you got Clowney and Mario Williams, then you've got an issue. Yeah. You got problems if you're in offense. Yeah. You got Williams on one side, Clowney on the other. You've got some serious problems. I mean, what are you going to do? You want to get stung by a bee or a scorpion?
Yeah.
I mean, come on. I mean, it's still going to be a problem. I would think that would bode very well for Buffalo Bills and those fans up there if they got Clowney.
Well, it's not like the Houston Texans are so far back off being competitors because they have one of the most talented rosters in the AFC division. And you know how to get into the playoffs, Troy. Yeah. You win a division, you're guaranteed to in. I mean, they've got J.J. Watt on the defense, you know, a couple of other free agent signings that are huge for those guys. Offensively, Arian Foster's going to come off of an injury. You know he's going to be good.
Yeah.
Andre Johnson, need I say more? Owen Daniels. They're littered with talent, basically, but you know, for the most part, they need a field general of sorts to get them straight.
Think about Clowney, though, if he's there with J.J. Watt on the other side.
That's another
issue.
Yeah.
That's another issue. That really elevates Houston to another level if that happens.
All right, since we're talking Texas and we're talking football, let's just go ahead and go about 4 hours north up to Dallas.
Okay.
The Lone Star. Now, you guys let DeMarcus Ware go up to the
Broncos.
Oh,
my feelings were hurt. My feelings were so hurt.
$16 million. Some people are saying, ugh, I can't give a guy that only, you know, played a handful of plays or whatever. What did he play? 75% of the plays or something of that nature. But regardless, we're sitting here talking about a lot of transitions going on up there in Dallas. Do they have someone that can run the football? Is Tony Romo going to rebound and be a relevant piece to that offense? Is it Jason Garrett's fault, the fact that they haven't reached a championship? I've thrown a whole bunch of questions at you. Go.
Yes, to all of them. No, it's hard to say. The thing is, as a fan watching the Dallas Cowboys, they need somebody of Ware's caliber on that defensive side of the ball.
Right.
I think that if they were to provide some sort of rehab capabilities for his injuries, I think he comes back. He's going to be great. He's going to have a monster year in Denver this year. And I think he's going to do that just to show everybody in Dallas, like, see, you shouldn't have let me go. Kind of like when Charles Haley came to the Cowboys from San Francisco, and Haley went bananas. I mean, everybody was scared to see 94. Oh, man, it's going to be bananas. Now, you also look, the other question is, if you're an NFL owner, do you think that Tony Romo is worth $106 million? Good quarterback, yes. Mentally, understands the game. He knows exactly where everything is supposed to be. He knows all the pieces. But for whatever reason, it seems like, and I'm not saying that this is the case because I don't know, but it seems like and appears from a fan standpoint that when it gets into December.
The only reason why I would say, Troy, that he is not a $100 million quarterback is because a $100 million quarterback, in my opinion, develops the pieces around him.
Right.
It's not like a Johnny Manziel situation where Mike Evans made Johnny Manziel. Yes. It's a situation where a guy like Tom Brady, he makes great receivers. He makes Julius Edelman. He makes Wes Welker. And Peyton Manning does the same thing. Quarterback or receivers love being on the field with either one of those quarterbacks. You know why? Because the ball's going to be where it's supposed to be and in a timely fashion. Those kind of quarterbacks can make stars of you. Those $100 million quarterbacks make other $100 million receivers. You see what I'm saying? I don't see Tony Romo with the absence of Miles Austin. He's got to deal with Des Bryant. They couldn't pursue a championship. Why? Because it's more than Tony Romo. So therefore, he doesn't deserve 9 figures.
So that's the way a lot of us are feeling about that. But for me, though, I think that Romo is a great quarterback. I think it will be a bit of time, and it's going to take a championship to prove that he is an elite quarterback to be worthy of $100+ million. I think that they also need, though, in his defense, he's going to need a line that's going to protect him. He's got to have somebody, and he's got to have a running back that is going to hold the ball. He's going to tote the rock, and he's going to run between the tackles, and also be able to catch the ball out of the backfield. I don't think that they have the durability in the backfield right now.
Well, enough about the Cowboys. We're heading into turn 4, and congratulations to Kurt Busch at Martinsville this past weekend.
Yes.
But you grew up in Dallas, so I mentioned that there was a variety of sports that you could actually follow.
Right.
You've got your the Dallas Cowboys, which we put to bed. Obviously, the Dallas Mavericks. You mentioned the fact that you're a huge basketball fan.
Yeah, I was a ball boy for the Mavericks in high school.
Shut your mouth.
I was.
See, that's another conversation we got to get into. See, now you got to come back to tell us about that. Well, it segues us into opening day.
Yes.
Texas Rangers are on the spotlight. So just talk about that. What did opening day mean to you growing up in the city where there was baseball?
Man, when it was opening day for baseball, everybody get a little bit of extra pep in your step. You're excited about it, and if it was a pretty day outside, you kind of walking around, you strut a little bit, you got your ball cap on, you got your Rangers, you're ready to go. And if you're lucky enough to have tickets to go to the game, you get really excited about it, especially. That's
a shame. Hold on, would you just put a pause on that?
What?
If you're lucky enough to get tickets, That's terrible, America. Are we to that point? Remember when you used to be able to go out and just watch a regular game? Probably didn't cost you or anything. That's when fathers and sons, they connected there. Now it costs you $500 to take your family to go see a game.
It's kind of crazy now.
$8 for a hot dog, $12 for a beer. What are they doing?
That's why you would go to the Tuesday night Decker hot dog night at the Texas Rangers. $1 Decker hot dogs. Oh, man. If you went on a Tuesday night,
yeah,
man, especially a kid in high school, man, you start grubbing, pigging out, eating hot dogs.
You know what? Is this the year for Ron Washington, though?
If his pitching staff can stay healthy. I mean, right now, Darvish is dealing with an injury, I believe it is. And, I think the Rangers have an outstanding staff. The key is going to be the health of the starting rotation and how far they can go into the later innings. Because if you use up your bullpen in the first half of the season, going up to the All-Star break, then you've got an issue coming later part of the year because the guys are tired. You're really going to have to do that, and I think that they're going to have to start looking at developing somebody that is going to be able to come up in the later months, in like September,
right.
If they need to have anybody called up, somebody come in from AA and AAA and bring those fresh arms up.
162 games, boy. Baseball is just getting started. Hey, we've done our own version of the Alamo here on Player to Player. You know what that is? We talked about all the Texas sports that there is from a Tennessee perspective. So
that's true. Hey, Tennessee and Texas. Yes.
Yeah. Hey, man, you've been a great fill-in for Derek Mason today. You really have.
Oh, thank you.
Don't be a stranger to the show because we'd love to hear you articulate some more sports. And keep us abreast of, you got the new album out, King of Clubs from Warner Brothers, right?
King of Clubs is out
And you're
now.
Actually about to go on tour here.
Yeah, we're going to be.
Yeah, you're touring with Big and Rich and things like that.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that before we let you go.
Going on tour with Big and Rich. We start out, we will be in Phoenix this week on Thursday. Then Friday we go into Palm Springs. And then from there on Saturday we go into Las Vegas for the Academy of Country Music Awards. We'll be there Saturday for an autograph signing. Then we'll fly out that night, go to Texas for Texas Motor Speedway. We'll do the pre-race concert on Sunday and then fly back right after the concert, which is early in the day. We'll fly back to Las Vegas for the Academy of Country Music Awards that night on Sunday night.
We got a couple more minutes here. Why don't you explain to the people what hip hop is?
Hip hop music is the combination of country music, rap, and rock, all combined into your favorite songs, and it's a lot of fun. I've had a lot of fun doing it so far, and I'm looking forward to another 10 years.
So it's kind of like the best of all worlds.
Yeah, man.
Well, that's good. All right, for Cowboy Troy, I'm B-Hop. This has been another edition of Player to Player. Tune in next week where Derek should return. If not, then guess what? We've got the big guy here. Anyway, stay tuned. Have a great week, and we'll talk to you soon.